This is Dolynny TV, guys. A big welcome back to another Edmonton Oilers discussion today. Of course, finally securing my guest to talk about the Bakersfield Condors that I've wanted to talk about for probably about a week. I've been teasing a bigger episode, and today, of course, we've got that. So joining me on the line today to talk about the Bakersfield Condors is Matt Mosewich of Edmonton Future Watch. You can follow him on Twitter. Matt, if you want to plug away on how to follow you on Twitter, maybe we should start with that and how you're doing today.
I'm doing good, Tice. Thanks for having me on. Anybody that wants to follow me can follow me at EDM Future Watch on Twitter.
All right, Matt. So I grabbed you, like I said, to talk about Bakersfield. And first question up is I've followed kind of the stats in Bakersfield, but not much else than that. I tweeted at you the other day there talking about Keegan Lowe and how he was doing. But essentially what I guess I should ask first is, in your opinion, having watched most of Bakersfield this year, who's really impressed you down there on the farm club for the Oilers?
So right off the bat, I'd say the number one name that probably the most impressive player this year has been Caleb Jones. His ability just to get the puck moving north and aid in the attack is, for that level, it's elite. Now, is he able to bring that to the next level? We're not sure yet, but all signs right now are really good. Other names that are impressing me, Joe Gambardella, Patrick Russell, who got recalled. The Oilers haven't used him much. Those would be two names that have been really good. The young guys, the kid line, as they call them down there, Cameron Hebig, Tyler Benson, and Cooper Marody, all three have been impressive. The energy down there on the farm right now is really good. They're coming off probably their worst loss of the year, but yeah, that team's exciting, and they got we got a lot of positive signs down there.
So I guess right off the bat, you've mentioned a couple of great names in terms of Gambardella and Jones, and you talked about Jones. How does it translate to the NHL? Are those guys you're looking at getting a call up in the next month for the Oilers? Should they want to try out some farm hands, or who do you think's getting a call up from Bakersfield within the next month?
Well, so that's an interesting question. So while I do think Jones has arguably been the most impressive player down there, I don't see any reason for him to come up just yet. I think a guy like that, a huge piece of the puzzle is confidence, and I want to see him stretch out his good play that he's had to start this year for an entire season. So I honestly, maybe late in the year, I'd call him up for a couple games just so he can get a feel for the pace of the NHL. But I'm always a believer in overdeveloping young players. It's a big reason why I was against Puljujarvi coming back up. So with a guy like Jones, I just think let him marinate down there. Don't rush him. I think that's my philosophy with that. For guys that are ready to come up now, I look at some of the kind of, I guess, energy players down in Bakersfield. I really think that Joe Gambardella deserves a call-up. That guy's work ethic is just unparalleled at that level. He's an absolute puck hound. Like I said, Patrick Russell, he's already up. He deserved a call-up. So I'd say those would be the two names that really stick out to me.
Okay, and then I'm going to kind of turn this over. We've talked about the skaters for the Bakersfield Condors quite a bit already early on. Maybe let's turn our attention to the crease battle in Bakersfield. They've used 4 different goalies so far this year. Of course, there's a couple guys that are more so mainstays in the ECHL for the Edmonton farm system. But what's kind of been your take on the goaltending situation down in Bakersfield this season so far?
It's kind of in a situation where nobody really grabbed the starter role and ran with it. They've, like you said, they've gone through 4 goalies. The start of the year was a bit of a different situation. Wells probably shouldn't have even gotten a game. They gave Skinner 2 games. He didn't really roll with it. And so it's basically been Montoya and Starrett, and neither guy's really established themselves as above the other. I do prefer when Montoya's in net. I think he kind of gives the team a little bit more of a safety net. And I think he's a good leader down there. But yeah, right now, nobody's really taken the ball and run with it. Like, Starrett has some good games, but I just don't think the guy plays consistently. And Montoya, yeah, it's kind of the same situation, you know. I like him back there, but most nights it's, you know, he'll have a good night, then a bad night, good night, bad night. And it's, yeah, nobody's really taking the starter role down there.
All right, so now maybe turn our attention back to the guys up front battling out for pucks and trying to get the puck down ice and into the back of the net of the opponents. Guys that are more veteran on the Bakersfield Condors, I guess, guys that I'd be talking about, Keegan Lowe and Brad Malone. What have you seen out of more of the veteran leadership in Bakersfield this year in terms of growing the kids as per se and helping out the farm club as well at that same rate?
Well, yeah, I really like both of them. I think Brad Malone's been excellent in his role. I would say he's kind of been the shutdown center. Like his line with, and for most of the year it was Gambardella, Malone at center, and then Russell on the right wing. And then that line would take play against the other team's top line every night, which freed up the kid line to play against, you know, secondary competition. So Malone's been great. He's a great leader down there. I don't think he's a guy who, I think he's okay with being down there, which I think is necessary. You need guys that are kind of established AHL players. And I think that's the same thing with Keegan Lowe. People think he's only down there because of his dad, but I mean, he's a really good leader down there, very physical. Lately, I haven't loved his game, but you know, earlier in the year, him and Bear were the shutdown pair, and they were locked down defensively. And they've kind of loosened up a bit, but I think Jones and Lagesson have kind of taken over that top pairing role. But yeah, I really like Lowe. I don't think he's anything more than an AHL leader. I mean, they named him captain to start the year. But yeah, if people are worried about him eventually getting a shot in the NHL, I don't really see that. I think they're kind of happy with him leading down there in the minors. Both Ethan Bear and Caleb Jones last year credited him with a lot of their development. So yeah, he's a great leader down there. Both guys, great leaders.
And now I guess turn back to the kids a little bit here. Two guys that we've seen in the NHL at different times for the Edmonton Oilers, both last year and only Yamamoto so far this year in Ethan Bear and Kyler Yamamoto. What's kind of, I guess, your take on the game plan for Ethan Bear and Kyler Yamamoto having that NHL experience under their belt, but now finding themselves early mid-season in Bakersfield trying to change their game or develop their game? What's kind of your take on the game plan for those two?
Well, I'd say both guys, generally speaking, have been disappointing this year. Ethan Bear, I mean, he's when you think of Ethan Bear, you think of that bomb from the point, offensive defenseman, and he really hasn't brought that to the table this year. Now there have been other areas that have been positive. His defensive game, I think, has taken steps this year. I think he's gotten a bit quicker. But yeah, the offense has kind of disappeared. The Condors don't even use him on either power play. He kind of cycles off on the second unit now here and there. But him and Logan Day swap out on the second unit. But yeah, overall, I'd say slightly disappointing. I definitely think, I mean, I had Jones ahead of Bear on my kind of list, if you want to say. But I think a lot of people will have Jones passing Bear in their rankings. And then as for Yamamoto, I'd say, you know, not to be too bleak, but I definitely think he's been disappointing in the 5 games he's played down there. I think my expectation would be that he would go down there and dominate, and I don't think that's an unrealistic expectation. I fully expected him to go down there and be the best player on the team, and he simply hasn't done that. He's been pretty ineffective, save for 1 game and 1 period. Yeah, and so I think as for the other question of when do I see them coming up, I would say you don't even consider calling them up until they're dominating down there. You know, let them, if it takes the whole year, if it takes part of next year, you know, let them until they're absolutely dominant players at that level. I don't bring them up to the next level, and that's kind of my theory with all prospects. Obviously, most are going to fail, but you hope that those few players can reach that elite level at the AHL level before you even consider the NHL.
Fair enough. So Matt, one last question for you. Essentially, what are you looking for Bakersfield the rest of the year to kind of develop these guys that we've talked about, as well as grow as a team and possibly grow players for the next level that maybe we aren't ready to see this year, but next year? What's kind of the keys for this team to do that this season?
Well, I just say continue what they've been doing. Honestly, like, watching them has been a treat. Like the amount of pace and energy they play with every night, it's hard for teams to match. Like, and I think a lot of that credit goes to Jay Woodcroft, who was, a lot of people cast him out of Edmonton. They didn't want him anywhere near the organization, but that team is young, they're fast, and they want to win. So I would love to see them make the playoffs. I just think that experience would be great for this young group. But yeah, I'll just say continue what they're doing. Bring that pace every single night. They're going to lose games. Like they're a young team, so they're going to lose games. But bring that pace and that energy every night.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you so much for joining me here on Dolynny TV today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and pleasure catching up with you as well. Anything else you'd like to add before letting you go, or?
Oh, just thanks for having me on. Enjoy. Everybody enjoy their holidays coming up here. Christmas is approaching.
All right, so here we go. We are heading into December right away here. 4 days out. I'm Tyson. This has been Dolynny TV. Joining me on the line today has been Matt Mosewich of Edmonton Future Watch. Matt, once again, maybe you want to plug that Twitter handle before I let you go.
Yeah, anybody that wants to follow me can do so at EDM Future Watch, on Twitter. And yeah, give me a follow, and hopefully you enjoy what I do.
All right, guys. Like I said, this is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.